And welcome inside the Grant Center, where tonight the USA South men's basketball semifinals will take place on the hardwood. Hi again, everybody. Alongside Brent Hammer, I'm Zach Humphreys. We bring you both semifinal games here tonight on the Averett Sports Network. Game 1 tonight features the top seed in the West, the Covenant Scots, versus the third seed in the East, the Methodist Monarchs. Covenant College comes into this evening with a 15-11 record overall, finished 11-7 in the conference. Methodist University checks in with a 16-10 record overall and an 11-6 mark in the USA South. Covenant overcame a 16-point deficit with 8 minutes left to go in the first round of the conference tournament to force OT before beating Maryville by the count of 83-81. The Scots are led by two-time Player of the Year Will Crumley. Methodist pulled off the first round upset, knocking off the number 2 seed William Peace 90-83. The Monarchs are led by Dante Burden, a first-team All-USA South player who averages 18 points per game. I bring in my partner, Brent Hammer. And Brent, we've talked a lot about this matchup on the podcast all week, which you can listen to by following us at AverettCom. That's Averett, COMM, on Twitter. What are your keys to the game here for both squads in this semifinal matchup?
My key factors for Covenant is just to stretch that floor out, establish that three-point game early, and thus far in pregame they've looked tremendous shooting the ball extremely well, and that's just they're gonna have to set the tone from the opening tip. And then for Methodist, they run the pick and roll the best in the conference, and it's so effective. And with Dante Burden and Mingledorf, that kind of like dynamic duo in a way is just going to be a real problem for Covenant.
Yeah, Covenant College, the top seed in the West, had a rough go at it, to close their season, but they got that first round victory, and they're looking to build upon that performance here in the semifinals. As for Methodist, they're playing really, really well as of late. In fact, their only loss in the last 7 games came at the hands of the Averett Cougars, who we'll see in the nightcap here tonight. So we've been talking about this, hyping it up all week. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty pumped. How about you?
Oh, I'm excited. We've been, looking forward to this all week, and this is the first time Averett's hosted a conference tournament since, my freshman year 3 years ago, and it's just, amazing to see, the impact that basketball has, especially in small Division III sports.
And we look at the head coaches for tonight on the Covenant side. Head coach Neil Young is in his 3rd season. He's done a nice job with the Scots, of course. First seed coming out of the West. And then on the other side, Methodist, they're head coached by David Smith in his 21st season at the helm. He's a guy that you've mentioned, a guy that you have a lot of respect for.
Well, just like with Coach Smith and then Maryville's head coach, they've been in this league for, as long as, physically possible. And it's just really just great to see somebody just tenured there for so long and, having a university back them for so long.
So both teams out there getting some shots up. We're about a minute away from tip-off. Glad you're aboard with us here on the Averett Sports Network. Of course, this is game 1 of 2. We mentioned at the top, Covenant features the 2-time USA Player of the Year, Will Crumley, as well as a third-team selection, Chris Barnett. So the Scots really like that low-scoring, grind-it-out type of game, similar to the Cougars, who we'll see later on. They're a really good defensive team.
Well, and that's the thing. Averett and Covenant are, almost mirror images of each other, and, even though Averett did get that big win against Covenant and established in fashion, it was a whole lot closer than what the box score showed. They're really an evenly matched team.
We mentioned the Monarchs on the other side have won 6 of their last 7. Only loss came last week, actually. And you were on the call for that one. Dante Burden was a big storyline in that one, had a great ball game.
Yeah, Dante Burden, Garen Dearman, and Sam Mingledorf all had tremendous games for the Monarchs, and really forced the Cougars into making some tough decisions late. But in the end, Averett found a way to win.
Yeah, Monarchs were really in control there late until the Cougars went on a run. It looked as if the Monarchs were going to snap that winning streak that the Cougars had been on.
Well, and Methodist was the heavy favorite around December, so they were number 1 in the East. So, and then with Averett, you can't really do anything. That's out of your hands, and the rest is history.
And we'll pause here momentarily for the national anthem. So let's take a look now at the starting lineups. We'll start with the Covenant College Scots, a sophomore guard, 6'2", from Wake Forest. It's number 3, Chris Barnett. A senior guard, 6'1", 175, from Lynchburg, Virginia, Jared Yock. A senior guard, 5'10", 155, from Macon, Georgia, James Mitchell. A sophomore, 6'3", 239, from Nigeria, Promise Igbanu. And rounding out the starting 5, it's the player of the year in the USA South, 6'9", junior, 235, from Marietta, Georgia, Will Crumley.
And now the starting lineup for the Methodist University Monarchs, starting at guard, junior Dante Burden, number 10, 6'1", 160, out of St. Paul's, North Carolina, Belmont Abbey College transfer. Starting at the other guard, number 12, Garen Dearman from Greensboro, North Carolina, Southern Guilford. Starting at the power forward position, number 24, Cayman Mitchell. Starting at the other power forward, number 30, Sam Mingledorf. And then rounding out the starting 5 is number 33, the senior Calvin Manley.
So if you hadn't had a chance yet this season to see the top player in the USA South, at least voted by his peers, you're going to get a chance here tonight to take in Will Crumley. Only a junior, but he goes 6'9", 235.
And that's just size, especially in the region that we play in, that is just rare. And it really shows how dominant he is. He averaged a double-double all season, which, you know, it's just, you know, very, very, very rare to see, you know, especially with the great supporting cast that he has behind him with Chris Barnett, who's another all-conference player that they added.
Crumley comes in averaging about 17.5, but on the other side, Burden averaging just over 18 points per game. So 2 of the top scorers in the USA South facing off in this one as well.
Definitely feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game just by if you look at the stat book.
So sit back, relax, and strap it down. It's USA South semifinals hoops coming at you right here from the Grant Center. Crumley, center circle, meets Manley, and Manley wins the tap. And that shot's up and good as Dearman gets it to go. So Methodist strikes first. Barnett. Ball inside now. And a wide open layup is up and good. And that's Igbanu. Just about a minute in. Here's Burden. Three-point shot is up, way off the mark. Igbanu tears down the rebound. Igbanu on the baseline again, going to work. Picked up the dribble, kicks it back outside. Crumley, now Barnett. Barnett baseline, drives and scores.
Barnett showing you exactly why he was a third-team all-conference selection right there. Not afraid to go amongst the trees and take it to the hoop.
4-2, Covenant on top. Here's a three-point shot. Off the rim, no good. As Mingleduff misfired, and it's out of bounds to the Scots.
Both teams kind of are, just attacking that basket early on. I talked about earlier in the podcast about Covenant being a shooting team. They're trying to break that mold by the looks of it.
Barnett was probing. Now Crumley.
Great move by Igbanu.
Igbanu, right another there. Nice move, this time on the opposite baseline. He's got a couple buckets.
And even though Crumley is the player of the year, he doesn't overshadow the rest of his teammates. Igbanu had a tremendous game against, Maryville last time out. Had a great job defensively.
As Calvin Manley knocks in that jumper. Barnett dumps it down to Crumley. Back out to Barnett for a three. That's good. Nice two-man action there from the Scots' two best players. 9-4 now, Covenant. Igbanu almost got a steal. Almost got another steal. Playing great defense. But still, somehow, Mitchell got to the basket. Barnett will fire and knock it in. Well, he's taken 2 threes, Brent, and he's yet to hit the rim.
Just like I mentioned pregame, they were looking tremendous in the pregame shoot-around. Just right there among that corner extended wing is kind of where they were just shooting all their shots. So definitely look for Covenant to attack that spot as they were filling it.
Covenant by 6. Here's Burden. Long 2. In and out, no good. And rebound is grabbed by the sophomore Barnett. Barnett with the basketball, 6 points. Baseline jumper's pure.
And Barnett just going to work, showing him, playing with a little bit of chip on his shoulder right now, saying he's better than, his third-team selection. Definitely trying to take over.
Sophomore now with 8 points. A near steal. 10 seconds now on the shot clock. And Manley traveled. And we'll have a timeout on the floor, and that Covenant bench giving Chris Barnett all kind of love and well-deserved. He's got 8 of Covenant's 14 here with 15:32 left to go. We'll take a quick timeout, and we'll be back with more here on the Averett Sports Network.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
And welcome back here inside the Grant Center. Brent Hammer, Zach Humphreys here with you, 14-6.
Methodist definitely switching to that full court pressure, trying to make the Scots a little bit uncomfortable right now.
Barnett with it. Inside, floater's good. Barnett just
8 quick points right now, you know, is really, you know, we didn't really get to see that, you know, last time out. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how Covenant runs their offense right now.
Manley on the baseline. Here's a 3. That's good. Big bucket there by Keeman Mitchell. And I'll cut the lead to 7. Igbanu, nice spin move on the baseline and got it off the glass.
A little bit of contact right there, fights through the hand.
So Igbanu has 6 points. Here's Manley with it. Mingledorf lost it, it's a turnover.
Covenant playing some tremendous interior defense right now. Definitely a point of emphasis for them moving forward. And Barnett again. Definitely has the hot hand right now.
Chris Barnett is scorching. He's got 14 points to open things up here in the first half. The Monarchs trying to cut into the deficit. Ball into the corner. 3 balls on the way, and it's good. Big time 3 by Keon Mitchell. Keeman Mitchell.
Methodist is definitely going to have to, you know, their offense is there. They're going to have to, you know, play defense and stop Barnett right there as Dearman gets a steal one-on-one and shrugs off the fake contact, if you will, and gets the transition basket, cuts the Scots lead to 6.
20-14. Crumley has not even started to heat up yet. He has it now. And he threw it out of bounds as he was double-teamed.
A little bit of miscommunication right there, but, you know, like we were saying, Crumley not really involved right now early, but you definitely don't want to sleep on him. He's the player of the year for a reason, but, you know, they're just feeding Chris Barnett right now, and I don't really blame him.
So Barnett's got 14 points. Igbanu's got the other 6. So all 20 points being scored by 2 players for Covenant to this point.
Really crazy to think that he has 14 already, and it's not even 8 minutes done with the game.
That's a nice layup there in traffic.
Mitchell right there.
So Mitchell's got a couple hoops. And all of a sudden, the Monarchs right back in it, down 4. Here's Crumley. Double team was late that time, but he left the jumper short.
It looked good from here at first, and then it just kind of died out at the apex of the shot.
So Dante Burden now steps back, hits the jump shot.
And I remember last time Methodist came up here to the Grant Center, Burden had about, 15 points from the mid-range, So definitely he loves that mid-range shot. Now they're trying to work it here to Crumley. Double team coming, and he fights through the contact, draws the foul. That foul, we'll see who the foul was going to be on. They're going to call it on number 24, Kamon Mitchell. And a timeout will be called.
So we'll take a timeout as well. It's 20-18, Covenant over Methodist. Come on back with us here on the Averett Sports Network.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And welcome back here inside the Grant Center. 20-18 right now. Covenant by 2. Both teams shooting very well from the floor. The Monarchs are 8 of 11. That's good for 73%. Covenant 9 of 10 from the floor, 90% as Crumley knocks in the first free throw. And the second one is good as well. So Crumley has his first points of the ball game.
McLaughlin's checked in for Methodist. Dearman spinning through the lane is up and good. What a move there on the baseline to spin off of Mitchell and put the layup in for 2. Cuts his lead back down to 2.
So the junior from Greensboro, nice move there on the baseline. Crumley with it. Goes
Crumley,
inside,
great move right there. And
he gets the
almost
shot
bobbled
off
the ball right there and hangs with it.
So Crumley's got 4. Burden, tough shot. Got it to go, though.
You can't play any better defense than that if you're, if you're Barnett. That's just a tough bucket.
Here's a 3 from the corner. A little bit off the mark.
Davon Platt.
Yeah, Davon Platt, who just checked in as well.
And Platt is another shooter. He, like I was mentioning, he was really good in pregame shoot around. I don't think he really missed a shot from what I saw. As Manley goes to work on him and draws the foul. Almost got it to roll in off the front of the rim.
Both of these teams super efficient on the offensive end of the floor right now. So the senior forward, 6'2", from North Carolina, Calvin Manley, knocks in the first.
And Malik Edwards checking the game for Dearman, and then they'll add in Zaire Edwards after the shot. Brady Palmer checks in for the Scots.
So all square at 24. Just about halfway through here, the first half.
Not sure what the issue was right there.
Yeah, Edwards had to get a new jersey.
I don't know if it was a jersey. I think it was an undershirt or something, which is kind of weird because you wouldn't think that they would care that much about an undershirt. I didn't even really see it.
Right.
That's what I would assume it would be.
In any event, he's in the ball game. So is Chris Barnett, who's been on fire here to start, and they got him with a carry. I thought they were going to miss it there, Brent, but they did catch it late.
Well, and that's a call that you don't really see called often a lot. Avery got it called on them last time out against North Carolina Wesleyan, and I was kind of like, wow, I forgot about that call because you would just expect these guys to, just be so perfect.
Burden with it, and he lost it. Crumley came up with a steal. This is Yak. Hands to Barnett. Now Crumley. Crumley above the three-point line. Goes inside, lost it. And here's a steal and a run out. Tough shot in traffic is missed. Offensive rebound by Edwards, and he misses the shot. But another chance here for the Monarchs. That three's off the mark.
Definitely trying to slow it down now. Methodist's bench getting behind their team right there. Great turn of events right there as fakes the screen, drives the lane. Barnett kisses it off the glass.
Tough shot.
And just like I mentioned in the podcast earlier this week, Barnett is a slashing type of guard. You know, you don't really see that a lot, especially in modern day basketball. They're going to want to try to stretch the floor out, but he's not afraid to go up on contact, especially against Crumley.
Here's Yock. Or check that, that's Palmer. Now Yock on the right side. Yock back to Palmer. Barnett going to have to hoist. Just missed, and he finally misses a shot here in the first half.
And I don't know if you heard or not, but Methodist was kind of giving them an early shot clock to force up a bad shot, so a little bit of a mental game going on right now as well.
Coming up on 8 minutes here in the first half. Mitchell inside.
Hook shot.
Shot's good.
Methodist takes the lead. Their first lead of the contest.
Crumley
Thought he was
trying to answer. Barnett.
Great defense there by McLaughlin.
And now I think they're going to get a foul on McLaughlin. Another timeout here on the floor. 28-24. Monarchs now take control. 7:44 left to go here in the first half. We'll be right back. And we're back here live inside the Grant Center. 28-24 Monarchs.
Oh my! What a play! Gets the bench to stand up on their feet.
Platt with a rim shaker.
It didn't look like he was going to get a hand on it, too. He jumped from a step inside the free throw line and absolutely soared for that one.
Great play out of the timeout, and Barnett found him. 28-26. And we've got a travel inside. Turn it back over to Covenant. Davon Platt.
Platt, another tall guy, 6'6", 190, from Newen, Georgia Trinity Christian High School.
Here's Barnett. He's got 14 first half points. Now Palmer. Igbanu's got a few baskets as well. 6 points here in the first half. Here's Barnett. Back to Igbanu. Nice
Great pump.
Couldn't hit it though.
You see it, he's kicking himself on the way back down. Knew that was a shot that he could hit.
So Monarchs, who were down early, lead by 2.
Great rebound there by number 50, who just checked in the game, Denzel Smith. Denzel Smith, the freshman, 6'7", 287 from Kannapolis, North Carolina. Big guy right there, and he checks out of the game after making that. I'm not sure if they called a foul on the over the back.
Yeah, that must have been Eric.
I thought he got it pretty
It
clean.
could have just been a jump ball possession arrow pointing the way of Covenant. So the Monarchs by 2.
And they switch McLaughlin on Barnett right there to try to, force a mistake or two.
Palmer picks up the dribble. Palmer's going to have to hoist. Left it short. But guess who? On the offensive rebound, Barnett.
Gets a nice friendly roll on the front of the rim. 16 now on the game. Definitely didn't expect this in the pregame with Barnett having an absolute field day right now.
Covenant is 12 of 17 from the floor. Monarchs are 12 of 19. There's
stolen away. And I know if you're Coach Neil Young, you're extremely happy with your young sophomore guard right now, playing the game of his life right now. Pulls a 3 and an absolute heat check moment right there.
Are you serious? Chris Barnett, 19 in the first half.
Making a case for first team all tournament.
McLaughlin tried to answer, and it's out of bounds.
And the thing the Methodist is doing, they don't need to, get out of what they're doing. Just stick with the game plan and, don't get too much outside their comfort zone. They're not really known for that three-point shot, but they can hit it at times. Just like Averett, they're going to take their three-point shots, but it's not what they're known for. As Igbanu checks out of the game for the first time, gets a much-deserved break.
And the player of the year in the conference checks in, Will Crumley. As we're under 5 minutes, and we've got
McLaughlin picks up his second foul early on.
Methodist foul charge number 3, Kevin McLaughlin Jr., his second personal, team's third.
So Barnett to trigger it in, gets it into Will Crumley, back to Barnett. Running the weave drill out high. And Yock got it to go with the shot clock winding down.
Great job by Yock, first shot attempt, and gets that one to fall and goes coast to coast in the other direction. Dearman misses it.
And the Scots rip down the rebound. And all of a sudden, they're up 5. Back and forth we go here.
Definitely going to be a game of runs, and, really who has the last run. And, oh, my goodness, Chris Barnett, 22 on the game.
What do you do if you're the Monarchs?
You really can't do anything. They're playing great defense on him, and then having to fight over screens is just a part of the game, and he's just knocking his shots down.
Burden misfired on a 3, and we will take a timeout as Methodist tries to talk things over and see what they can do with Chris Barnett. In fact, we'll keep it right here. Brent, if you're the head coach for Methodist right now, so you're David Smith, what are you telling the guys in the huddle?
I mean, defensively, you just got to keep doing what you're doing. You saw early on McLaughlin, who got switched on Barnett early on, but, has 2 fouls. If I'm him, I'm telling his team, you got to play great suffocating defense without fouling, because if Covenant gets you in foul trouble, they're gonna make you pay for it. They're one of the best free throw shooting teams in the conference. And then offensively, I would just tell them, hey, do what we do. Don't do too much, and this is gonna come naturally. It's a game of runs, and they were up as much as 5, and now they're down by 8.
And what's the reason for that? Chris Barnett, 4 of 4 from beyond the arc, 9 of 10 from the floor.
Unbelievable.
Here in the first half for 22 points.
Definitely expect Barnett to be in the game until they either establish a dominating lead to give him a little bit of a break, or maybe halftime's going to be his only break he gets.
So 3:50 left to go here in the first half, as the Monarchs find themselves trailing by 8 here at the moment. This is Manley. Logan Schlick, who's checked in. Checked that. That's actually Malik Edwards, and that pass was stolen.
Mitchell got his hand on that loose ball right there and tips it away to Barnett. And here we go with Covenant the other way.
Crumley gives to Barnett.
And you can really tell, Covenant's not trying to sugarcoat anything. They're giving Barnett the ball and letting him do him.
Well, Malik Edwards is checked in to hopefully put some defensive pressure on Barnett.
Igbanu, tough layup right there.
Manley tears down the rebound.
And he touched it. Dearman touched it.
He had the right idea, but it was just a little bit.
Just a tad bit long.
Out of the reach and a turnover.
And that's just not a usual pass that they're used to seeing. It's not like football where you get those balls thrown to you every day in practice. That's the long outlet passes are very rare to see.
Crumley. This three's off the mark as Mitchell misfired. Bird, a nice pass to find Edwards.
Cuts the lead down to 6.
So Yak will bring it back across half court here for the Scots. Uses a screen to the left. Crumley now finds a lane, but it's blocked at the top by Manley. Here comes Burden.
Euro step, yeah, definitely. I don't think that Burden saw that extra help coming, and I kind of forced him to take that extra step. But it was a great move by Burden right there with the little Euro step. But just, they're going to call a timeout.
So head coach Neil Young in his 3rd season wants to talk things over with the Scots as the lead's been cut to 6, 36-30. The Scots lead right now. We'll take a quick timeout and come back with more right after this.
On and off the court, we're focused on creating lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. More college athletes are earning degrees than ever before, but we've still got work to do. That's why we're raising the bar for incoming freshmen, so they're prepared when they get to campus. And why teams can't play in championships unless they make the grade. Education matters, and putting academics first creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity.
Brent Hammer, Zach Humphreys here with you. Glad you're aboard with us here on a Friday night. USA South semifinals, game 1 of 2 here tonight from the Grant Center. Under 2 to go here in the first half. Covenant by 6. And another
one.
How about
twice?
That? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's.
I don't think that was the first one was on Mitchell. I thought the first one was on Yak.
Okay.
I mean, it's highly possible.
Nonetheless,
especially on that far end of the floor where we don't really have the best view.
Right. But 2 of those calls and a half, very rare.
The referee's definitely keeping their eye on every nook and cranny. What a move right there on the mid-range. Right there by Mitchell.
Little fall-away jump shot from the elbow. That was smooth. Cuts the lead to 4. Yak picks it up. 3 ball in the air, no good. It's Crumley misfired. Here come the Monarchs.
Manley created some space right there with that jab step.
Burden had the ball on a string.
What a move! kind of flicked it up with his wrist, but stays with it, gets the offensive rebound, and cuts this lead down to 2 with 55 seconds ticking away left in this first half.
At first you don't succeed, keep trying, and that's exactly what Mitchell did. Second chance point there. 40 seconds left to go in the first half. Crumley. Yock picks it up. Down to Crumley. Fall away jumper's good.
Player of the year, going to work, showing you why he was elected to that award. And they're going to hold it here for the last shot.
A lot of offense here in the first half.
Absolutely.
That's what we expected, right?
Yeah, definitely look for Burden to come right here on a pick and roll. Try to stop right here on the mid-range. They're going to let Mitchell go to work. Blocked away by Banu. Lost it.
So the Scots will take a 38-34 lead into intermission. And a great first half. We'll come back on the other side in a little bit with the first half numbers. You're listening to USA South Basketball here on the Averett Sports Network. And welcome here inside the Grand Center at the half. It's Covenant 38, Methodist 34. Brett Hammer, Zach Humphreys here with you, and we'll give you some first half numbers. Now let's start with Covenant because the big story here in the first half has been Chris Barnett, Brett. 9 of 10 from the floor, 4 of 4 from distance, 22 points here in the first half.
It's really unbelievable. Early on he was just trying to, get going, taking some mid-range shots, but now he's just, going absolutely berserk, going, like you mentioned, 4 for 4 from 3, and they've not been, toes barely behind the line. They've been a good 2 or 3 feet behind the line, and contested too.
Right. In that first half, Covenant shot 16 of 25, 64% from the floor. They were 4 of 8, all 4 of those triples, by the way, from Barnett, 50%. And they were 2 of 2 from the free throw line, so 100% clip there. But they also got some contribution there as well in the first half from others.
Yeah, Igbanu and Crumley added 6 respectively, and Igbanu 3 total rebounds right now. But Methodist is really holding Crumley to really nothing. This is unlike Crumley at all.
Yeah, Crumley's only taken 5 shots. He's 2 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. But on the other side for Methodist, K'Mon Mitchell has really played a really strong first half as well. He's 7 of 8 from the floor.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like Mitchell's really taken over. We talk about Burden and Dearman being the ones that are the players to watch, but Mitchell, the people that you least expect right now. Like we thought Crumley was gonna just take over and show you why he's Player of the Year, but Mitchell tipped the hat to him, and and he's got a quiet 16. I didn't even think he really had that much.
Yeah, in 17 minutes, he's got 16 points. But Burden, and Dearman both have 6 points as well, so 12 combined there. And from the floor as a team, as a unit, they were 15 of 27, 55.6%. From distance, they were 2 of 9, 22%, and they were also 2 of 2 from the free throw line. It's really been a close contest, back and forth. Both teams have had their share of a lead. What are you looking to see in the second half?
Just like I mentioned, as the first half was winding down, it's going to be a game of runs, and neither team is really going to get that defensive edge until they really just buckle down and really focus on that. But the one thing I'm noticing right now is Covenant's only played 7 players that have a registered stat compared to Methodist's 9. And that's maybe going to come back to haunt Covenant. Not going deeper in their bench, but. Like I was saying, Barnett played every minute of the first half, so I would highly expect, him doing that unless they go on an absolute tear here, and, he can get a breather for a quick second.
Yeah, Chris Barnett, he's going to get a much-needed break here at intermission, but they're going to need him in the second half as well, as Covenant takes a 38-34 lead into halftime. And we'll take a break and come back with the second half here in a little bit on the Average Sports Network.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete. On and off the court, we're focused on creating lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. More college athletes are earning degrees than ever before, but we've still got work to do. That's why we're raising the bar for incoming freshmen, so they're prepared when they get to campus. And why teams can't play in championships unless they make the grade. Education matters, and putting academics first creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity. Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools, for nearly 500,000 student athletes, college sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Welcome back here inside the Grant Center as we get set for the second half. Brent, we were watching Barnett shoot coming out of the tunnel there. Still can't miss a basket.
He's definitely in a zone right now, and I definitely feel like, Coach Neil Young is gonna keep him in the ball game. He played every minute, every second of the first half, and unless they take a demanding lead, they're not going to take him out of the game. Great turnout here from the Covenant fan base, making that trip all the way up from Georgia, especially on a Friday afternoon.
Right. So the Monarchs will start the second half with possession. There's a block by Crumley at the top. Crumley wanted a foul, but instead it's a steal. So back with it comes Burden. Manley, tough shot.
Thought he kind of landed back on his feet on that one. Maybe he kind of got it tipped away. I didn't see the referee making a tip signal, but
it's good defense by Igbanu. Got the rebound as well. Here's Barnett. And he stepped on the baseline.
Out of bounds, Methodist ball.
This is Dearman. Here's Burden. 10 on the shot clock. Burden inside. Really tough shot.
just short right there. A lot of contact on that. Definitely got up looking for a foul right there.
And Yak was fouled by Burden.
And that's kind of a tough call to make from that angle. I thought Barnett or Yak, I don't know who had the ball right there, but I thought he lost it. And Burden had just as much right to that ball as he did.
Yeah, those loose balls are always tough on officials.
Both teams really been playing that man-to-man defense all game. You would usually expect them to switch into zone, just kind of give them a different look. Great rebound there by Burden.
As Crumley misfired on the 3 ball. So still no score here in the second half. 38-34.
Mingeldorf right there, the miss.
A lot of tough shots right now. Now we're starting to see that coming at defense.
Exactly.
Here in the second half.
They do rank second in the USA South Conference, behind Averett, but, they are the #1 team in the West, and, defense is a big factor of that. Right there, Mitchell knocks in the 3.
So Mitchell pushes the lead to 7.
Finally get the lid off the basket right there. See if Methodist can do the same, and just a little bit long right there. And here's Barnett. Definitely looking to slow it down here.
Yeah, I thought for a minute there they had numbers and they could have had a fast break, but Barnett elected to pull it back, get into the half court. Here's Mitchell. Igbanu on the baseline. Fakes the pass, goes inside. Missed the shot. Crumley's there, and he's fouled. He tried to get the putback. Not sure if they're going to call that a shooting foul or just a loose ball foul. It's kind of in between there.
Yeah, I don't think he was really forcing up a shot. I think he was just trying to, gain possession, but they're going to say that he was going up with it.
So Crumley will toe the line for a pair.
Crumley, a tremendous free throw shooter, shooting 69% on the year.
Kevin McLaughlin Jr., a sophomore, checks back in for the Monarchs.
And McLaughlin early on, about in the halfway point of the first half, he was one guarding Barnett right there when Barnett wasn't really scoring. So definitely look for him to be matched up on him.
John Baker, the seniors, also come in for Methodist.
It's the first time we've seen Baker in the game as well, too.
Scott's by 8. Here's Burden.
Shifts him.
Can't hit the jumper.
Methodist hasn't found that groove yet. Still hasn't scored a basket in the second half. You can hear Coach Young getting into his team, telling him, hey, play D. We have to play defense. We can't rely on pure offense.
Here's Manley with it. Hands it to Burden. Back to Manley. Passed up a 3. It's inside.
Great pass in the air. And Mitchell
gets it to go.
Mitchell led the way in the first half for the Monarchs. Gets them here started early.
So Mitchell now with 18 points.
4 minutes came off the clock before Methodist even got a basket to go.
They're lucky to only be down 6.
Blocked away right there by Burden. Tried to sell the foul right there, but great job by the refs letting these two teams go at it.
Here's Manley straight on triple. Got it.
Manley leaves it up there, but as I was mentioning, there's not a lot of fouls.
They actually called it a long 2.
Oh, wow.
They might take a look at that. That was really close. They've got 3 on the scoreboard, but I did see one official signal the 2-point basket, so we'll keep our eye on that. McLaughlin with a steal.
Definitely go back, maybe look on the broadcast and get a better look at it. As McLaughlin doesn't get the layup to fall right there. And here comes Barnett the other way, setting up that half-court offense.
They like that slow-down pace.
It's definitely what you're going to need to do. You don't want to give Methodist transition basket because that's where they strive. Barnett, even then that looked good. I thought that was going to fall. It was a great look there by Barnett.
And Igbanu hit the deck. It could have been a loose ball foul, but nonetheless, we'll take a timeout. It's 42-39. We'll check on that 3-point or 2-point basket upon our return. 14:29 left to play. We'll be right back. All right, so it is a 3-point basket. 42-39 is our score. Covenant by 3, and they'll inbound the basketball down on the baseline. And there's a steal for the Monarchs.
Right here, transition 3-on-3, and McLaughlin kisses it. Bank shot off the glass, cuts this lead down to 1, and ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
So here come the Monarchs. Back with it is Young.
Platt's checked back in the game for the Scots.
Platt had that thunderous dunk in the first half.
Thought Barnett was going to pull that for a second, had the space. Stolen away.
Nice job by Burden. So Burden wants a screen. Now he'll dump it down to Mitchell. Mitchell, quick first step. Got the layup to go.
Takes the lead.
Covenant wants a timeout. And the Monarchs are fired up as they reclaim the lead by 1. Brent, we saw this in the first half. Back and forth we go. It's a game of runs.
Yeah, and we mentioned it in the pregame. You know, this is going to go down to the last second if it gets to that point. You know, both teams are tremendous offensively. Mitchell's having a great game, and then on the other end, Barnett's having an even better game, keeping Covenant in this game. And, we mentioned Barnett's going to have to probably play 40 minutes in this contest to keep his team in the game.
We've talked so much about Barnett. He's got 22 points, but On the other side for Methodist, Mitchell's got 20, so he's right there with Barnett.
Yeah, it's definitely getting overshadowed by Barnett, but, you know, they're scoring in two different ways. Barnett is scoring, you know, three-pointers, which are rare to see, especially in a game like this where, you know, both teams are great inside. But, you know, Mitchell, like you were saying, 20 points, not too far behind him. You know,
yeah, Mitchell, 9 of 10 from the floor. We said the same thing about Barnett in the first half.
So it's definitely going to be a Mitchell versus Barnett kind of game from here on out. I would fully expect Mitchell be in the game, you know, as long as he can be. Maybe they get him out, you know, a little, you know, give him a little bit of a break, because I don't feel like Barnett's going to come out of the game at all, and maybe that will be the edge Methodist has.
So Methodist has that edge right now by 1, 43-42. A little pressure in the backcourt now.
A great job right there by Coach David Smith for Methodist to come out the break and just apply pressure. You know, as a team, you don't really expect that, you know, just pressure right off the bat, especially after a timeout like that.
Palmer's checked in. Palmer will fire and knock it in. Brady Palmer, the sophomore, gives the Scots a 2-point lead. Here's Mitchell, 20 points. Step back Jay, a little too strong.
And that still wasn't even a bad shot by Mitchell. You know, just going to work on the player of the year, and, you know, that's not a bad shot by any means. Definitely trying to get Barnett open, trying to get him going.
Ball into Crumley. Here comes the double team. We've seen that all night. Crumley passes out of the double. Into the corner. Palmer misfires, but gets his own miss. And
he had Yawk right there off the rebound by Palmer. I don't think he saw him. They're trying to work it into Crumley, let him, you know, maybe with that. Don't know if they really think it's a mismatch or something, but they're going to call a foul right there. We're going to call that on number 11. That'll be John Baker, the senior. Pretty sure that's his first foul. And Yawk really could have shot that. They're going to work some more clock here. And Barnett
misfires that time.
Definitely cooling off from that red-hot first half that he had. So
this is first 2 attempts here in the second half.
Definitely watch for Methodist to recap on that.
Burton's going to take a long 3. That's good.
They're going to call that a three-pointer. Take the lead right back.
So Burton gives the Monarchs the advantage here momentarily. Here's Yawk. Steps inside. Platt. Back to Yawk. Yawk inside.
Great move. Blocked away by Baker. Baker making up for it.
Timeout on the floor. 11:20 left to play. It's 46-45. Monarchs by 1. We'll take a timeout. Come back with more.
If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
On and off the court, we're focused on creating lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. More college athletes are earning degrees than ever before, but we've still got work to do. That's why we're raising the bar for incoming freshmen, so they're prepared when they get to campus. And why teams can't play in championships unless they make the grade. Education matters, and putting academics first creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity.
And we're back inside the Grant Center. 46-45. Monarchs have the lead here at the moment. Yock, nice move.
What a move.
Left it short, though, and Burden collects the miss. Step back off the mark by Baker, but we got a loose ball foul.
Call that on. Not sure. Flat.
As Mingledorf checks back, replacing Mitchell for Methodist. Here's Baker. Now Burden averages just over 18 points per game. Burden's going to fire a three, just hit one. How about another one?
Burden getting red hot right now.
So Dante Burden back-to-back triples.
Dante Burden, the first team all-conference guard, showing you why he is, who he is. Like you mentioned, he averages 18 a game, and definitely coming up on that mark here soon.
Covenant scrambling here in this possession, and it's out of bounds. Ball belongs to Methodist.
A hesitation call right there by the referee on the sideline.
From our vantage point, thought it was the right call.
Oh, most definitely. It's just a weird pass, and Igbanu just didn't get a good handle on it, and that's just a really tough pass to bring in. As Palmer checks out for the Scots.
So Burden has hit back-to-back triples. He's up to 12 points. A hold there by Yock, and the official caught it.
And here's a note. Mitchell for Methodist is on the bench right now, letting Burden, just go. And, Burden having that stamina that he can play, the whole half and not need a break. And, Mitchell leading the game in points is definitely going to get that much-needed break right now, because if you're Coach Neil Young, you don't take the player of the year out of the game.
Burden.
Mid-range.
How about this?
That's about his third one that he's hit from that same exact spot right in front of the free throw line.
So Dante Burden is heating up. A quick 8 points, 14 overall, and the lead 6 now for Methodist. Yock lost it, and the Scots will retain possession. 12 seconds on the shot clock.
And this Methodist bench getting behind their team, playing tremendous basketball as of late. Kind of struggled in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And blocked away by Burden, but they're going to call a foul.
So with 1 second on the shot clock, it'll be a shooting foul.
And, they're going to call that on Mingledorf. Interesting call right there, to say the least. And Mingledorf talking to him right now, saying, "Hey, I had my hands up. Like, how is that on me?" But giving him the explanation, said that he kind of gave him a hip during it too. But that's extremely unfortunate. With the shot clock basically expired.
So Igbanu had been quiet since those early 6 points. Now he has 7.
Platt checking back in, this time for Yock.
Platt's got 2 points, but they were a loud 2
very
points.
loud 2 points. And that's the thing about, dunks. They're at the end of the day, they're 2 points, but there's a whole lot more to it, especially in a close game like this one. That one dunk could energize the whole team for the rest of it.
5-point game. Methodist back with it.
And they switch into like a 2-3 defense right now, and 4 on the clock. 3-2 one. Burton forces up the three-pointer, doesn't hit anything. Shot clock violation there. Kind of just shrugs right there at Coach Smith saying, hey, you know, you couldn't do anything about that. And here we see Kamon Mitchell checking back in the game for number 42, Zaire Edwards.
Mitchell's been a big story for Methodist. He has 20 points to go along with 4 boards.
Here's Igbanu bringing it up the floor, showing you some flashes of a guard. Barnett
off the glass,
picking up right where he left off. And that's kind of how he started the first half too, you know, started inside and then as he got more comfortable, expanded it out. So
yeah, you see a couple floaters in the lane and of course those 3 balls as well. Dearman's going to pull it back out front. And Burton off the dribble, floater, crawls across the rim, no good.
Crumley with the rebound. Definitely looking to cut in that Methodist lead right now.
Brent, Crumley's been so quiet. How do you get him going here offensively?
It's going to be really hard, especially with Mitchell being as fresh as he is. You know, he just spent 3 to 4 minutes on the bench resting up while Crumley's been battling here. But, you know, if you're Coach Smith, I feel like you just run pick and pop with him. What a move by Dante Burden.
It started on one end with a block shot by Dearman, and then Burden finished it with a pretty move in transition.
Behind the back, that is a whole lot harder layup than most people think. You know, you're moving as fast as he is, and then to bring that ball around. Oh my, I thought he was going to rise up again.
Ball was knocked away, and Methodist has it.
But yeah, as I was saying, you know, if you're Coach Neil Young, you got to just get, you know, he's the player of the year. Get him in the spot that he's most comfortable. Expose the mismatch because, you know, Methodist is running that man. And, oh, my Lord, McLaughlin with a deep 3 right there.
Just a calm triple from well beyond the arc. And that's
almost
a big
pulled it
basket.
from the volleyball line.
So the Monarchs push the lead to 8 with 6:54 left to play here in the ballgame. We'll take a timeout and come back with more. All right, welcome back here inside the Grant Center. Shaping up to be a good finish here. Inside 7 minutes left to play.
This game's really flowing by, Zach.
Well, we thought we'd get a shootout there, you know, judging by the first 10 minutes, but both defenses have shown up here in the second half.
Definitely flipped the script in this one. Offense was the major point in the first half, scoring a lot and often. And now it's just really a defensive battle on who can make the defensive stop when it matters.
Look at the footwork by Igbanu, but he left it short. And here comes Burden. Burden, a first-team All-USA South selection, has shown why here in the second half. Little hesitation inside and a whistle.
I thought they were going to call that out of bounds. I thought that was a clean block right there by Manley.
Might have got him with some body contact.
Semifinal charge number 23, Promise Igbanu. That's his first personal team score.
So that'll send Burden to the free throw line. And all of a sudden, Burden's up to 17 points.
You know, just one off of his, yearly average. And showing you exactly why he was a first-team all-conference selection. Goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line right there.
So the largest lead by either team here tonight as Methodist takes a 10-point lead. Coming up on 6 minutes left to play. Yock, nice pass into the corner. Platt, 3, got it. Big time 3 there by Platt.
Yeah, and even though they're still down 7, that's a great momentum start to swing it in the right direction.
58-50. Burden over to Edwards. Malik Edwards finds Manley. Manley drives, hangs, blocked by Platt. And there's a whistle.
Like we were mentioning, this is a game of runs, starting the second half. Methodist didn't get their first points until about 4 minutes into the half, and now, they're up 8. It really goes to show how much, that 10-0 run can really make. That could really be the defining moment in a game.
So Chris Barnett at the free throw line. Barnett had 22 points at halftime. He has 25 for the game, so only 3 points here in the second half.
Definitely limited his impact in the second half, but he's still making his baskets, when they count. And like we were mentioning, he's been in every second of the game thus far, and it's going to come back to haunt Covenant.
So a 4-0 mini run here for the Scots, and they cut the lead to 6. As Mitchell traveled on the baseline. So now the Scots get it back.
Scots going on a little bit of a run on their own right now.
Coming up on 5 minutes left to go. Still a ton of time.
And Zach, these last 5 minutes could turn into 30.
Right. It can be an eternity sometimes. As Crumley, straight on triple, misfired. Just can't seem to get going tonight. They've come with a double team a lot, so he's done a nice job passing out of that, but that was a good look.
Great block there by Platt. And, just like you were saying, they haven't gotten Crumley going. And, thanks to Barnett, he's really not having to need to score 30-plus games.
Here goes Barnett. Kicks it to Yock. Now Platt goes inside. Layup is good, and one.
And McLaughlin got bumped right there on the screen. I don't know if it's a nose injury or if he got poked in the eye. He's kind of wiping his eye right now. And you kind of saw that after the screen, and it opened up Platt for that drive to the lane as it was 5-on-4. And that's what you have to do. And with a man down on defense, there's not much you can do.
So Davon Platt cuts the lead to 3. Manley, baseline jumpers pure.
And that's kind of a lost art in basketball nowadays. That mid-range shot could really impact the game. We see it a lot with Averett's Tim Henry. That's where he makes the majority of his points right there as Mitchell knocks down the 3.
So Mitchell with the answer.
Covenant switch back into that man-to-man defense and leaves Mitchell open. The three-pointer rattles around and in.
So Mitchell pushes the lead back to 5.
Mitchell long 3. great rebound there by Crumley getting up there. Thought Yock was going to pull that. Crumley, what a layup right there to just play it off the back of Mitchell, who's playing great defense there, but when you get turned around, you don't really know what's going on behind you.
Under 3 minutes to go. Burden gonna go. Spin move, they're gonna call an offensive foul.
That's kind of a 50-50 call, in my opinion. You know, I really didn't think Yock was in position. I thought he was moving, and, you know, that's just another 50-50 call that just doesn't go the Monarchs' way.
Always a bang-bang call, always a tough one in real time, but it's a 63-60 lead. We'll keep it here as the Monarchs clinging to that three-point lead. All right, Brent, so you're on the Scott sideline. What are you saying here, trailing by 3?
You know, just like I was telling Methodist do in the first half, they're playing great. You know, it's just the ebbs and flows of a ball game, and, you know, you just got to tell them to buckle down defensively, because you know what they're going to do. They're going to try to, you know, slash the basket and maybe the mid-range. And, you know, if they give up a three-pointer, that's not what Methodist does. And then offensively, you know, you got to get Barnett open. He's only had, 3 points in this half? And, you know, compared to 22 in the first, that's not even, you know, a comparison.
We did see Will Crumley get a basket to go there a moment ago. Maybe that opens things up for him. Is he still the guy you look to in this situation?
I feel like if the game is on the line, you do whatever you can to get Barnett the ball. And then you maybe, you know, with Crumley being, you know, that second option, maybe running like a pick and pop, maybe, you know.
Two-man action.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if Barnett isn't open, you know, or doesn't like the shot, Crumley's there, and, you know, he's built for that moment. But, you know, I feel like, you know, if Methodist is in that situation, they're thinking, you know, hey, we got to stop, you know, Barnett at whatever cost. And, you know, that's going to leave Crumley open, you know, for a possible game winner.
So Methodist will bring pressure in the backcourt. And Yock gets it across. He is doubled.
And that's the thing that Methodist did early on that they did tremendously well, but they got away from it. You know, especially in a close game like this, you know, full court pressure it could be your friend.
Platt driving, leaving it short. Collects his own miss though, puts it up and in. Platt's been big in the second half.
Platt, you know, like I was saying earlier, he had that monstrous jam in the first half, and, you know, getting more of a roll here as Burden spin the layup is up, good, and one.
What a tough hoop.
And Burden celebrating after the bucket, showing the playoff intensity of this matchup right now. And this is where Dante Burden, you know, makes his money right here. You know, it's driving to the basket, drawing fouls, getting your team in foul trouble. You know, in the first half, you know, Covenant only had 3 fouls compared to Methodist 2, and now it's a 7-5. And, you know, Covenant being in the bonus from here on out, you know, Methodist is definitely coming up on it too.
Burden has 21 points now. Here's Barnett. Fires and hits.
He has an unbelievably beautiful stroke.
I'll tell you what, Dante Burden wants the ball in his hands, and now they'll take a timeout. And we'll keep it here again, Brent, as we all take a deep breath. 66-64 the score. Monarchs by 2 with the basketball here. All right, so now you're on the other side. You're Methodist up 2 with the basketball, 1:34 left to play. What type of action would you like to see coming out of the timeout?
I would try to get Burden, you know, another basket, you know, at the hoop, draw a foul, because you get fouled, you know, that's 2 points. Burden is a tremendous free throw shooter, so if you can get him to the basket, and almost like that, like kind of like James Harden attack mode, you know, if you don't get the basket, you're gonna get draw a foul, and 2 points is 2 points no matter where it comes from. So that's what I feel like Coach David Smith is drawing up right now in the huddle. And then, defensively, you don't want to get Barnett going, especially with, a minute 34 left in this ball game. You get him going. If he knocks down a three, they're right back in it, and, you do not want him to have that hot hand carrying it over.
Monarchs to inbound, into Manley. Down to Mitchell. Burden off the dribble. Left it short, and there's the whistle.
Exactly. Just like I was saying, drawing up a play to get him to the hoop, drawing the foul. And, right now they're up 2. Burden knocks these 2 free throws down. That's ideal, what you want if you're a Monarchs fan. And then, play some defense on the other end. And they've been doing a great job, as of late.
Burden now 4 of 4 from the line. And it's a 3-point lead.
And Dante Burden, an 88% free throw shooter on the year.
And that one makes it a 2-possession game. Chris Barnett.
Yeah, we know how coaches, harp all the time about, hitting free throws. And, it goes to show this game has really came down to free throws.
That 3 is in and out by Yock, and Methodist pulls down the board. Coming up on a minute to play. Covenant needs a stop. Mitchell finds Burden inside. Layup's
Tough
good.
layup right there by Dante Burden. Extends his lead to 6. Clock winding down, 45 seconds left in the ball game. Loose ball, McLaughlin has it, draws the foul. And these Methodist Monarchs, let's just give them, the props that they deserve. Down 4 to start the half, couldn't get a basket to go, and now, next thing you know, they're up 6.
And it's been the Dante Burden show here
Most
in
definitely.
the second half.
He was really quiet in the first half, only had 6, but, those 3-pointers definitely gave him a boost of confidence.
Only 6 points in the first half, 19 points for Burden here in the second half. As McLaughlin knocks in the first free throw.
And if you're Covenant right here, I don't know if you really go for a 3-pointer right here. I feel like, you can drive to the basket, get a and 1 opportunity, because, 3 points is going to be 3 points regardless. I don't feel like, unless you have a wide open 3-point opportunity, I don't feel like you force it here, because that's what Methodist wants you to take. Right there, Crumley. Nice draw-up play right there as Covenant will call the timeout immediately after. Cuts this lead back down to 6.
Still a lot of time left here. Of course, Covenant is going to look for that steal off the inbound pass. If not, quick foul. Make Methodist hit some free throws.
And it's always really interesting to see, what do you draw up here after you get a basket and you're trying to get a steal? Do you have a go-to defensive play to force a turnover, or is it kind of really a luck of the draw?
Well, usually you see coaches, put usually their tallest guy on the inbounder, just to kind of make it difficult. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Crumley on the inbounder. What a game, though, from start to this point.
Well, we kind of hit it right on the head. It's definitely been a shootout, but the second half has really been more of a defensive game, as it was more of a shootout in the first half. But in those last 3 to 4 minutes for both teams, a lot of back and forth, and Methodist just like we were saying, went on their run of their own. As Covenant was ending their, they were on a 8-0 run.
How about this, Brent? Mitchell and Burden, 48 points combined for those two for Methodist.
Unbelievable. And that's the thing, too, with Methodist is that, got the turnover that they needed.
Mitchell gives to Barnett.
They got to get a shot up quick. Barnett could have pulled it right there as Platt pulls up the three and gets it to fall off the glass. They're going to probably discuss it here as a timeout is called as well. A little bit of a discussion here.
So Platt hits a three off the glass.
And that right there changes the game.
All of a sudden, it's a one-possession game.
And no, they're going to say that it was a two-pointer.
Now some confusion. So you're right. They did change it on the scoreboard to a two-point shot.
Here we go.
So Methodist will inbound. They lead by 4. This one is into Burden. And now he's fouled. Oh, a scary moment there for Methodist.
Yeah, Burden lost the ball right there, but thankfully drew the foul while he was going to get the ball.
So Burden will toe the line. He's 5 of 5 from the stripe tonight.
As we were mentioning before, Platt hit that three-pointer. It's not just Mitchell and Burden. It's the support and cast around him. If you really look at Covenant, they don't really have any other high scorers, up there to be comparable with Methodist. Methodist has, I want to say, about 9 people in scoring numbers. As Burden right there goes 2 for 2, and 12 seconds left. You need a shot right now. Platt. Barnett 6 seconds and draws the three-pointer and one. What a shot. And a 4-point play opportunity. They're going to say that was a 2 as well. Are they calling? The referee that's closest to the viewers right now called that a 2-point basket. They're going to give Methodist a timeout.
Wow.
A lot of controversy right now with these last 2 shots. I felt like both were 3-point attempts.
It was interesting because I think you could make the case that Barnett kind of initiated the contact.
Yeah.
He kind of leaned into the defender. But in any event,
that was a tremendous shot by Barnett nonetheless, being,
yeah, exactly.
off balance, leaning, falling, and throwing up a shot to kiss it off the glass.
And the Scots are still alive.
And yeah, right now it's a 3-point ball game, I'm not, yeah, exactly. You got to knock down this free throw right here. And, hope, I don't know if you get it in, hope for a miss, but you don't want to put Dante Burden at the line. Maybe they get a steal, and I don't know how many timeouts Covenant has, remaining. But maybe they get the steal here and draw up a half-court play right there to force this game into either overtime or win it.
My, oh my. 74-71. Methodist by 3.
I still need confirmation on whether that was a 2 or a 3.
So Barnett trying to make it a 2-point game. He missed it on purpose. Ball was tapped out by Crumley, but Methodist comes away with it.
That's such an unfortunate turn of events. It's a great, great draw-up play right there. You have Crumley, who's the tallest player on the court, and it was just a bad tip, and it came in pretty fast too.
I'll tell you what, if Crumley just puts 2 hands on it and grabs it, kick out, and you got a chance to hit a 3. It was that close.
I'm not sure what's being discussed right now.
Yak has fouled out, so they've got to replace him here. Yak has 5 fouls.
They send Palmer in for Yak. And Yak, the senior, which by the looks of it, looks like is going to be his last career game as a Scot. And you can see it in the Scots' faces right now on the bench. They're just heartbroken. fought tooth and nail till the end, and they're going to check in Mitchell Hollis, the other senior.
Just two great teams going at it here tonight in the semifinals.
Definitely giving the fans their money's worth in this one.
Tell you what, if the second one's half as good as this one, I'll be ready for that.
I think I'm going to have my fair share of basketball after this. And they're going to bring in number 11, Jackson Fitzgerald, Lakeland, Florida, Victory Christian Academy.
So Covenant will inbound here. They're going to come up short here tonight, but this was a great game. Two great teams as Methodist moves forward, and they will sit and watch the nightcap to see who they will play in the final. And Brent, Dante Burden, what a second half.
Yeah, exactly. He had a slow first half and then, rebounded with an even better second half. And, that's really going to be the key to this, this game and, moving into the championship. No matter who they face, they're definitely going to try to get him going, early. And then, also tip your hat to Mitchell, too.
Yeah, he had a great, strong first half, and then really Burden picked up the slack in the second half. So we'll give you the final numbers here in a moment, but the final score, it's 76-71, Methodist over Covenant. We'll be right back here on the Averett Sports Network.
On and off the court, we're focused on creating lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. More college athletes are earning degrees than ever before, but we've still got work to do. That's why we're raising the bar for incoming freshmen, so they're prepared when they get to campus. And why teams can't play in championships unless they make the grade. Education matters, and putting academics first creates a pathway to a lifetime of opportunity. Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools, for nearly 500,000 student athletes, college sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
And welcome back here inside the Grant Center as we wait for the second game to tip off. They are doing some awards from throughout the season in the USA South. The final here in the first semifinal matchup, Methodist 76, Covenant 71, as Methodist moves to 17-10 overall. But the larger story, Brent, as they move on to the finals here in the USA South tournament. And we look at some of the individual numbers. Dante Burden, 27 points to go along with 7 boards and 5 assists. Oh, yeah, he also had a block and a steal in 38 minutes of work.
Yeah, Burden doing a little bit of everything here in that semifinal, and then, add in the help from Kamon Mitchell, 23 points, 5 rebounds, and adding an assist as well.
Methodist shot 28 of 53 from the floor, 53%. They were 7 of 15 from beyond the arc. That's 47%. How about this? They were perfect from the free throw line, 13 of 13. That's big in a close game.
Exactly. 13. That's 13 free points right there, and that's a whole nother ball game. Covenant walks out of this one with a huge win.
Well, let's see. Methodist won by 5. They outscored Covenant at the free throw line by 6. So there's a difference. Of course, you can point to many different things, but on the other side, Covenant They were led by Chris Barnett, who finished with 31 points. He had 22 at halftime. So credit the Monarchs for really clamping down on Barnett and making it difficult for him in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he had, 22 at the half? Yeah. And, he still had, a pretty decent showing in the second half, but it was definitely a tale of two stories for Chris Barnett. But, the story of the game for me was real crumbly. Mm-hmm. The player of the year only had 11.6 rebounds. And, he's averaging, close to 20 and 12 rebounds.
Yeah, he was really held in check here tonight. They brought the double team a lot to really kind of force the ball out of his hands. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why you saw some open looks for Barnett. He cashed in the first half. But really, they were never able to get Crumley going, and I think that was a huge storyline.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what Covenant's plan of attack was, but, I would assume that coming in the game they were going to get Crumley going, but Barnett got red hot. Was 8 for 8 in the first 10 minutes or so of the game, and you're going to ride the hot hand regardless of your game plan.
Yeah, he came out on fire. Was 4 of 4 from beyond the arc, and Covenant led at half. They led 38-34, but Methodist won the second half by 9, 42-33. It all adds up to a 76-71 win for Methodist. And here at the half, they're doing some awards. Has anything struck you so far here? And we saw Corey Baldwin, a freshman for Averett, get recognized already.
Yeah, and, just talking about Baldwin, that was the first week of play, and, that's when all the exhibition games are going on, and he did tremendously well, had 18 points against High Point, a Division I team, and, as a freshman, you've mentioned it exactly. He was coming off the bench too. He wasn't even starting, and like you were mentioning, he's playing beyond his years. It may say he's a freshman on the court, but he's definitely playing like a junior or a senior.
Well, I think along those same lines, I think you could say the same thing about Keyshawn Lewis. He's a sophomore point guard, but another guy who plays well above his years. Looks like a junior or senior out there running the show at point guard. As Coach Duino getting recognized for his Coach of the Year honors, much deserved. The assistant coaches for Averett as well, Brandon Baker and Chris Sauce getting recognized.
And now the West Division champions.
That would be Averett's first East Division championship since 2017.
And you were here for that, right?
Exactly. I broadcasted a few of these games my freshman year here, and seeing Tim Henry, Ian Best, and Vince Contreras, where they were younger, maybe didn't have that big of a role, and fast forward 3 years later, and they're still doing the same exact thing.
Yeah. What makes this team different from that team you saw back in 2017?
The team now is just so cohesive. Back in 2016, 2017, Averett really relied on James Contreras, Vince's brother, who was an absolute monster on the floor, multiple 40-point games. And then Charles Bryant, who was the player of the year at the time, he had Will Crumley numbers, 20 and 12. And, it's just a whole lot different game. It was, like we talked about, it was a shootout. It was really who could score the most. But, Coach Dorino this year has really said, you know what, we're just going to play defense.
And that they have. They're ranked 32nd nationally in that department. By far the best defensive team in the USA South. That's really their calling card. That's where they hang their hat on that end of the floor. Of course, they could score. I mean, you look at guys like Isaiah Jones. He could fill it up at any moment. Montre Cash, same thing. But they really hang their hat on the defensive end of the floor. And usually, Brent, great teams do.
Yeah, and, defense turns into offense if you play it well. And, with Averett, that's the case. I would have loved to see how many points per game they average off of turnovers. And, and not to mention it's not just defense late in the game. Whenever they are up by, 3 or 4, they just take off, from those late game free throws. And like we were mentioning with the Methodist game, they were perfect. So you hit your free throws, it's going to extend the lead and make it look even worse on the box score than what it is.
As both teams come out here and loosen up as they get set, there's 30 minutes on the clock. We'll take a short break. We're going to end this broadcast. We'll start up another one with Averett and Huntington. And we'll come back here on the other side and get you set for that one in just a moment.